TV.
The Porsche Carrera Cup North America on IMSA Radio.
Well, it's been a season that started at Sebring in Florida, not too far away from where we are now here at Michelin Raceway at Road Atlanta. And we've travelled the length and the breadth of North America, including 2 races on the streets of Toronto. But the final round of this year's 2022 Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands, is here at Road Atlanta, just up the road from Atlanta itself, up I-85. 2.5 miles, 12 corners, and in these cars, insanely quick turn into the first corner. Blind at turns 2 and 3, then balance the cars down through the S's and commit to turn 5 before you head over the brown to turn 6 and 7. Really important corner that. Get out of 7 well, and you've got an opportunity for an overtake in turns 10A and 10B in that tricky downhill but flattening out area of the circuit. And then through to the final corner. Hello everybody, it's John Hindhaugh and Jeremy Shaw with you. We'll go through the grid in just a moment. Second race of the weekend, and it has left the championship poised rather nicely after yesterday's race. Let's remind you what happened in race 1. So off yesterday, it was Lauren Heinrich, guest driver, coming in for 311 Motorsports, twice a Carrera Cup Deutschland champion in the red car, who led. Big moment for Riley Dickinson on the start-finish line, somehow avoided the wall and rejoined. That was the start of a fight back. Left front caliper leaking brake fluid caused a huge off for Lauren Heinrich when he was dominating the race. He shook his head, he had no idea what had gone on there, almost caught it, but not enough. Then TJ Fisher was shoved off by his teammate, and he had a little bit of a wild ride as well. Parker Thompson coming through to win in the JTX Shell car. Efren Castro winning the Pro-Am category and keeping his championship hopes alive. And it was John Getz in the number 57 who took the Am win yesterday. Well, Parker Thompson taking that victory closed things up at the top of the field. Jeremy Shaw alongside me, John Hindhaugh. And Parker Thompson doing his championship challenge. No end of good there, Jeremy, as we go into this event today. What's the gap at the front of the pro field?
It was 11 points, it's now 5. The difference between first and second is 5 points, but Parker Thompson also got the extra point for fastest race lap, so he's more than half that deficit. If they finish in the same order today, with Thompson winning the race and scoring maximum points, Heinrich, who's starting from the pole, he's not eligible for points, so ignore him so far as the points are concerned. If they finish in the same order as yesterday, first and second, then they will be tied on points with Thompson ahead of Van Berlo. They'll be tied on points, it'll then come down to the results. And that's when it gets really interesting, because it'll go all the way down to ties down to third position.
Way.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. In the other championships, Alan Metney will be starting from the inside of row 5 in Pro-Am. He has to keep his head on today. Efren Castro didn't exactly rattle him yesterday, but took the victory. There'll be thoughts of last year for Alan Metney when this was a triple header. Came in with one hand and, as Jeremy said, 4 fingers on the championship trophy and left with a 2-point deficit. Efren Castro, though, needs something special to happen today in that championship.
Yeah, if they finish first and second today, as they did yesterday with Castro ahead of Metney, that'll be enough for Alan Metney. Metney yesterday led most of the race. He was passed by Castro, and Metney kind of let him go. He didn't fight it too hard. He said, okay, that's fine. If I finish behind him for 2 races, that's good enough to win the championship and get his own back from last year.
Mark Kawami is starting on the inside of row number 11. He's the pole sitter in the Am category. John Getz took the victory yesterday. He is second best qualifier in Am, but again, Mark Kawami has to just play it smart today.
He does, and he's got that championship in hand. But a super drive yesterday from John Getz, just a week or so, a couple of weeks after his 65th birthday. So a tremendous effort for him. He's not slowed down at all. He's been around this sport a long time. Tremendous character. Great win yesterday for John Getz.
No time to go through the full field, but as Jeremy said, Lauren Heinrich for 311 Motorsports on pole with Riley Dickinson alongside him. Riley desperately disappointed that he didn't get a better result yesterday. Parker Thompson and Trenton Estep are on row 2 for JDX and MDK. Kai van Berlo, championship leader still and just for Kelly Moss as Grant Tolke alongside him. Dimitri Demakos, Travis Wiley, Alan Metney, the Pro-Am pole sitter, and Michael McCarthy make up the top 10. 40 minutes on the clock. It is the longest Carrera Cup races that we see around the world here in Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands. Green flag is in the air, down towards turn number 1, and there's already a little bumping and barging between Dickinson and Lauren Heinrich. The red car has the inside, should have the advantage. Here's Thompson coming through, and a spin behind as off goes the number 6 of Trenton Estep. He's gone off at turn 1. Also going off is the third of the Kelly Moss Road and Race, Michael McCarthy. That's the number 7 car that's gone around, and there's carnage at the top of the hill as well. That's Metney. Metney's off, the 99 iFly car. So that's exactly what he didn't need to happen. He's got damage to the right rear. Castro has gone through. Now, how far has he dropped back? Drama from the off. There was a little side-by-side contact between second and third, but Estep went off on his own.
No, I don't think he did. I think he got a bit of a help there from
Metney got a huge push.
Yeah, from
huge push. Yeah. But that was nothing to do with Efren Castro. He was a couple of 3 cars further back.
Wow.
So that has thrown a massive spanner in the works.
There's Kai van Berlo then. He's side by side with Dimitri Demakos coming down the hill towards turn 10.
He was held up, Jeremy, by what was going on ahead of him.
Well, I'm not so sure. He didn't make a little bit of contact with Trenton Estep, to be perfectly honest. He started in the 5th position.
To 3rd position, I reckon, as they come through. It is Lauren Heinrich and Parker Thompson leading from, Riley Dickinson in 3rd, then Dimitri Demakos. Lauren Heinrich is so far ahead, I'd actually forgotten he was there. Now, Kai van Berlo. Is the damage to van Berlo's car? He's losing positions there. Grant Tolke goes through.
Yeah.
Heinrich leading. He is invisible for points. So yes, he's leading. Yes, he'll get to stand on the top step of the podium if he can get to the end, and he should do. His performance yesterday was outstanding, and it was a mechanical issue, not driver issue for Lauren yesterday. However, that means top points, 25 points will go to Parker Thompson as it stands at the moment.
Yeah, but they got to get more than 35 minutes to get through to the end. There's another losing a position. Their number 8 car goes past Kai van Berlo and up into now the 6th position, I think it is. So van Berlo, I think, is down to 7th, maybe 8th. So he's got an awful lot of work to do. He started this race on new left side tyres.
Yes, this is
the pole sitter, Lauren Heinrich, he started on brand new fresh set. He only used 2 sets of tyres in qualifying. Yesterday's race, there's what they call the joker tyres that the teams can use any time during the season. There's 4 tyres they can use at any point during the year. Parker Thompson used them yesterday with a goal of trying to get fastest lap in the race, which he did.
Yeah.
Today, Van Berlo started with that joker 2 tyres, and he's hoping to get that fastest lap and finish in 2nd, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Mark Kwame is still in 2nd to Bill Smith in AM at the moment, but where has Alan Metney? Alan Metney's dropped down to 5th, Jeremy, in Pro-Am. That will be a huge point swing to Efren Castro.
Well, I mean, he's lucky he hasn't gone farther back than that, to be perfectly honest, because that was really unfortunate for him. And you know, it's super tight in this field. I mean, they're so tightly matched. Everybody, of course, running the same car. There's the Pro-Am cars and the AMs as well. And Bill Smith, by the way, it is who leads in the AM class right now in car number 42, up to 15th position. That's a great effort for Bill. He started 25th. He's made up 10 positions on that first lap. He's ahead of Mark Kwame and Vernon McClure. Aaron Chopsey is there as well. He's one of the pro cars. He was the one, I think, who was involved with Alan Metney. But here now, yeah, Kai van Berlo is off the pace, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is, Jeremy. I think there's damage to the left rear of that car. Either in that opening skirmish or something else. He's pulling over to the inside. Marco Cironi's gone through. Adam Adelson's gone through. Incidents are being evaluated by race control. Well, 35 minutes of the season still to go, and has the drama been played out in the first two corners?
Yeah.
Parker Thompson for JDX Racing, been stalking the leaders all the way through the season. He's in the pits.
Yeah,
oh,
look.
and he's got a radiator leak. Radiator leak. The temperature's gone through the roof. So that's it.
Yeah.
Van Berlo's championship cruelly stolen away from him at the final hurdle. He's not even going to stop in the pit lane. I bet he goes behind the wall here. Well, he has pulled up at his team. The fingers across the throat from the team, but I think he knew it anyway. Yeah. What cruel luck for the Dutchman. He's home in Florida, was where he's studying at the moment. Oh, what a weekend. What a weekend.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Kai. He's done a super job. I mean, he started off the season so strong. 4 wins in the first 4 races. He didn't win the next 2, but he won the 2 after that, and he was absolutely running away with the championship. It seemed at one stage, but it's all gone backwards in his last few rounds. And he had some problems in Indianapolis. He had a penalty at Indianapolis, in actual fact.
Contact with his teammate.
Contact with his teammate,
Yeah.
Riley Dickinson. I tell you what, there's no love lost there between Riley Dickinson and Kai van Berlo. In fact, in actual fact, there's not much love lost between Kai van Berlo and everybody in this championship, because he's been very forceful all the way through the season, and he's kind of rubbed several people up the wrong way, but he is a tremendous talent. And talking to him, he's just a really cool kid, got a great head on his shoulders, and he's going to be driving again tomorrow and looking to win another championship for his team tomorrow, Riley Motorsports, in the Petit Le Mans in LMP3.
Well, something else for him to focus on, perhaps. Bill Smith then, what a great opening lap for him. Took the opportunity to drive through, but Mark Kwami's hunted him down and gone by him there in the AM category. Bill avoiding all the carnage, but Mark Kwami, head screwed on there. Well done, Mark. Stayed out the way. Dropped back a little bit to gain a little bit in the mostly silver number 43 MDK Motorsports machine. Good season for Mark. Been guesting in 1 or 2 other championships as well. Loves his driving, loves his motorsport. Looks like the championship is going his way as it stands, with just over half an hour of the season still to go. Lauren Heinrich leads by 4 seconds. He does not exist in terms of championship standings or indeed championship points. So at the moment, 25 points for Parker Thompson would take him to the 2022 championship, and Riley Dickinson in second at the moment would take home 20 points.
Yeah, and look, Parker Thompson can let Dickinson go here and still win the championship. He's got to be mindful of that. He knows how hungry Riley is. He got his first win at Indianapolis last time.
And he's done just that.
He's
done just that, Jeremy. Yeah. Obviously, JDX, Hassan Bricks and Jeremy Dale and their team have a huge amount of experience, and there was no need to fight there. Now the question will be, what will this do with Estep out and Van Berlo out, Jeremy? What will this do to Riley Dickinson's championship? He was a long way back. Could he steal third?
No. Can he steal third? Yes, absolutely he can steal third.
So.
Yes, he will overtake Estep, because where is Estep?
He's off. He went off, didn't he?
Yeah, he's out. Yes, so he's out of the race. So yes, all he needs to do is a sort of a top 3 finish will be fine for Riley Dickinson to get 3rd place in the points. It's been a dramatic end to the season, though. Last time at Indianapolis, in the second of 2 races, there was a brake failure there for Trenton Estep, who cannoned into the back of Parker Thompson. Estep did his very best to not to do that, but there was absolutely no way for him to avoid it. And it was kind of cool. Yes, what was it, yesterday? Day before, I can't remember now, it's all a blur this week. But Estep came over to the JDX Racing truck when I was actually there, and they were kind of joking about it. They get along really well, these kids. It's great to see. And Trenton actually signed the rear quarter panel on Parker Thompson's car and put a smiley face on it. Sorry, he said, you did a better job at slowing me down than my brakes did. And he kind of wrote down the car. Really cool little moment between those two. Yeah, he was super apologetic. It wasn't his fault, of course. But Parker Thompson here, look, he's come so close to winning championships in the road to Indy over the last several years, this would be massive for Parker Thompson. He's a huge talent. He's from Red Deer, Alberta in Canada. He's worked so hard to get. He's still only 24 years old. I mean, he's been racing, it seems like, forever.
Yep.
He started pretty young, but he's a tremendous talent and just a really cool guy as well.
Inside the top 10, Efren Castro for Kelly Moss's leading pro-am. He's got Marco Cironi about a second behind him. He's looking at the moment at the back of TJ Fisher in the top racing car. Doesn't need to race that car, the bright lime green highlighter colour car that is behind him. That is second place in pro-am. But at the moment, Alan Metney, well, he has made up one position. Metney is up into fourth in pro-am. His problem now, though, is that he has got 4 cars between himself and Kurt Swearingen, who is the next pro-am runner. Now, Jeremy, you've got the points there, but I think at the moment Efren Castro would nick the championship again, exactly as he did here last year.
Look, if Metney finishes third, he'll lose it by 1 point.
Well, he's fourth at the moment, and there's a big gap between Kurt Swearingen and him. There's about 7 or 8 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that gap.
What though, Marco Cironi has closed in on Efren Castro.
Well, that might be the danger for Efren if he loses the lead here. Marco Cironi with that highlighter yellow front on the car, easy to spot. Let's keep an eye as well on that number 99 iFly car. Castro trying to go past TJ Fisher and put a car between himself and Marco Cironi. So this is a live championship battle that we're watching at the front of the field. Parker Thompson can stroke that number 9 car home. Dimitri Marcos is the next car back for him, but that's 5 seconds. So championship battle for the 65, not the silver and blue car ahead of him, and actually not really battling in the championship with Marco Cironi, but Marco Cironi represents a 5-point drop between first and second. Now, post-race investigation for the incident between Alan Metney and the number 13 of Varun Choksi. And also 6 and 1. So the turn 1 incident, that was between Trenton Estep and is involved in turn 6 at car 6 at turn 1, reviewed, no action. So whatever happened to Trenton Estep, it was deemed as no action required to be taken. Lauren Heinrich by 6.2 seconds. Still Efren Castro trying to get by TJ Fisher. That would put him up to 8th position, but more importantly would put a car between himself and Efren Castro. There's 5 points between first and second in class, and at the moment Efren Castro wants to hold on to every single one of those points, Jeremy Shaw, in the Pro-Am category.
Yeah, he does. He certainly needs to win it. Second place would not be good enough, I think. Let's check that. It would be, Metney would win it by 3 points. If Castro finishes second and Metney fourth, which is where he is at the moment, then Metney would win it by 3 points. So he needs to get that win, does Efren Castro. He's in a perfect position right now, but Marco Cironi from Canada is right with him. And Marco, he's won the class on 3 occasions this year, and he's looking to finish what has been a really good season. I mean, they don't run a big budget at all in that number 84 team. It's a small 1-car team.
Right, okay, so Alan Metney is now within a couple of seconds of Kurt Swearingen for third in Pro-Am. Why is Alan Metney so far back? He had contact with Varun Choksi and Choksey right into the back quarter panel at the top of the hill. Now, if that's going anywhere, that is not going to be a penalty for Alan Metney. Absolutely tell you that now. Varun just a little bit
did
optimistic.
he get help from behind?
Well,
however?
that's a good point, Jeremy. That is a good point.
It was certainly tight, wasn't it?
Damage to the right rear of that iFly 99 car. Now, the car ahead of him is Kurt Swearingen. It's now only 1.6 seconds, so Metney's charging. To keep his championship hopes alive, he either needs help from Marco Cironi in the Mark Motors Racing number 84, or he needs to keep moving forward. In fact, probably a little bit of both. Oh, this is last year all over again.
Yeah.
All over again. Castro at the moment is winning the Pro-Am Championship and defending the title that he took last year. He won it by 2 points last year. At the moment, he's got the lead of the race and 25 points. Marco Cironi in behind him could take that championship away from him and hand it to Alan Metney. Metney, for his part, needs to pass Kurt Swearingen, but even if he does that, he'd still be 1 point shy of winning the championship. So he's either got to drag up to Efren Castro and get past him, or Castro has to fall back to second place.
Yeah. Metney now, though, is right behind Kurt Swearingen.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
He's pulled that back. It was over 5 seconds. It came down to 3, 2.5. And now just under a second. Kurt Swearingen with the bright green car with the bright green wheels going through turn 5. Just looking at that rear damage on the right-hand quarter panel. Really lucky. Unlucky but lucky, Jeremy, and that sounds an odd thing to say. But my goodness, if he'd gone much further off and had contact with the wall, or if the damage, the hit from Choksey had been a little harder and brought the suspension arm, that could have been it for Metney. Now, big challenge down a turn number 10A at the bottom of the hill. This is TJ Fisher in one of the pro cars. The cars are identical, it's only the drivers, but you can set the cars up quite differently. Double wishbone front suspension, rear wing that's very much adjustable now. And here comes Efren Castro. Problem is, if he's going to pass TJ Fisher there, Jeremy, he's got to do it cleanly. Can't afford to lose any momentum because of the fact that Marco Cironi is closing in on him again now.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's closing. They're running pretty much similar lap times. I mean, they've been sort of nose to tail, maybe 6-7 car lengths between the number 65 and number 84 of Castro and Cironi. Pretty consistently now, and they know TJ's pretty quick, so I don't think he's holding them up. But I think there's Marco Cironi uses every inch and a little bit more due to some of the Georgia clay coming out of turn 5. In the meantime now, Metney is right up with Kurt Swearingen and looking to get into the 3rd position.
So we knew that we would have to have the calculators out.
And that would be, by 1 point, good enough. If you can finish in 3rd, Metney, that's okay.
Oh, that would get
okay.
him the championship
Yes,
by
it
1
would.
point.
Yes.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry, I thought it was the other way around. I thought Castro would win it by a point.
That was if he stayed
in 4th. Right. Okay.
Well, he got to 4th. Actually, he was 5th when we talked that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're looking at 2 cars to make changes for position, and Metney goes into 3rd. Swearingen can't defend down the inside. So 3rd position for Metney. There's no bonus points in the Pro-Am and Am class for fastest laps, is there, Jeremy? So there's nothing really that Efren Castro can do. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, and Metney has fought back really, really well. That's been a very good drive indeed. He was sitting down almost in 20th position. Classic overtake at the bottom of the hill at Road Atlanta. Alan Metney goes through on Kurt Swearingen. He's on the podium, but crucially, he's amassed enough points to hold on to the championship by a single mark. Even if Efren Castro wins the race.
Wow. So halfway through this race then, 20 minutes remaining. And still, all the championships are up for grabs.
Yeah, Mark Kwame has dragged back, passed into the lead, as we mentioned. Bill Smith now in third because Bob Mueller for Goldcrest has gone through into second. That's been a decent little battle, and Mueller is right with Mark Kwame at the front of the AM class. And they're sitting in 17th, 18th and 19th position, that battle for first, second and third, as Metney has clawed his way back into the smallest championship lead we can measure in Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands. Lauren Heinrich, by the way, whilst all this has been going on and we've had the calculator out, has pulled out to almost 7 seconds on Riley Dickinson. Riley will get the 25 points for the win. That could elevate him to third position in the championship. Now, let's go back to the AM lead, going down through the S's now. Mark Kwame in the silver and black car. Coming through turn 5 now, and the silver and red car is sitting in second. Then there's another little pair of cars, which is Bill Smith and John Getz, who are battling for third and fourth. So 2 pairs of cars, all 4 of them in the AM class, and all significant battles, first and second, and then the last step on the box. Great run by Bill Smith earlier on in that bright orange car, and he'll have loved yesterday, as will John Getz, who had a cracking race yesterday. John, who led the championship for a little while. Mark Kwame elected not to go to the straight race supporting IndyCar on the streets of Toronto, and that allowed John, who's going down the inside at turn 10 but can't make it happen, allowed John Getz to take the championship lead. Sorry, Bill Smith to take the championship lead, but then Bill injured his foot in a non-race related accident, a home injury, as it was described to me.
Yeah, he lost the battle with a ladder, with a step ladder, as he put it. Yes, the step ladder won.
As they often do, Jeremy.
And that actually was before Toronto, so he went to Toronto and he was sort of struggling, but he went to see the doctor afterwards, and the doctor said, "I'm doing surgery on that now."
Yeah.
So that's
and they missed Road America.
So they missed Road America because of that.
Yeah, the 2 races there.
Well, he's still got a big boot on his left foot. He takes it off to drive, but he's still struggling. He's not fully fit by any means, but he's doing a good job to be back at the wheel of this car, and doing a nice job with it as well. That's that Kung Fu Saloon, orange, number 42, and John Getz right behind him. Still a super battle between these two, and far ahead of him is that battle for the lead in AM, with Mark Kwame he's got his hands full with Bob Mueller, that's for sure.
He has. John needs to move forward to put a bit more pressure points-wise on Kwame, and he's going to do that here. He's up to third. Now Mark is still holding the lead in the championship as it stands, and I think he can drop the second, Jeremy, and have John. He can drop the second as long as John is in third. That's fine. He'll still take the championship there. So yeah. Mark just, I know he wants to win another race here. He's had a cracking run of victories, Mark Kwame. Got to be sensible, got to finish the race. If it comes down to winning this race or finishing second, then he really has to let Bob Mueller have his day in the sun, I think.
Yeah, he won 9 out of 12 races. He missed 2, as you say, north of the border. He's won 9 out of the 12 races he started as Mark Kwame, so he doesn't need another win, but he wants to take it. But what a good run this is for Bob Mueller, though. He's only done a few races this season. Started off at Sebring with his own team. He trailed all the way across the country with it, and then for the last few rounds, he has some business commitments that took him away from the series for a while. He's now hooked up with Goldcrest Motorsports to drive this number 28 Octavio Tequila car, and he's pushing Mark Kwame all the way here. But in the meantime, Lauren Heinrich is out front and turning consistent laps at the front of the field. He's 6.5 seconds clear of everybody else, but as John was saying earlier, he's invisible in the points. He's invisible now because he's so far ahead of the rest, but Riley Dickinson holding down that good second position. Parker Thompson doing what he needs to do in third.
6th overall, having a scrap here.
This is a good battle.
It's Travis Wiley in the 77 and Grant Colkey as Hutton McKenna in the white and yellow car has overshot at turn 1. And he's actually got out of that pretty well. And what happened to Hutton? Oh, just misjudged the corner, I think. Didn't seem to be anybody else. Great to see the McKenna colours back in. I've been around this sport long enough to see the McKenna Porsche dealership colours in the big show in the American Le Mans Series, as it was in those days. Let's go back to what might become a very important battle for 6th and 7th position, Travis Wiley and Grant Torkey. Grant's just the carbon fibre reinforced plastic hood on that car, just flapping around a little bit. I think they'll be slowing him down there much, but the worry will be that it pings the bonnet pins and that pops up on the 81 green car, doing a passable impression of a classic Porsche colour. What used to be called Viper green, now known as Python green. Been a few of the colours renamed, but classic stuff come out. I think of Ruby Stone.
Yeah, Grant Torkey is from Sarasota in Florida. I saw him a little while ago. I forgot to ask him how he fared in that awful hurricane that's hit Florida over the last several days. But he's had some good results this season. Had a good run yesterday to finish in yesterday, 6th position, I think he was yesterday, which would have been his best result of the season. It was his best result of the season. Really fine run yesterday for Grant Torkey in that car number 81, running with the ACI Motorsports team, and he's really enjoyed this season. It's his first season at this level, and very much looking forward to coming back next year. He's learned so much in 2022, and he's doing a good job here. He and young Travis Wiley, the youngest driver in the field, just 18 years of age, from Austin, Texas. Ooh, a bit of a slide there through turn 1 for Travis.
In the top racing car, a little bit of a coming together between that top racing car and the team car, TJ Fisher, yesterday.
To Marco Cironi.
Cironi has dropped back behind Michael McCarthy. So Efren Castro
might have made a mistake on that last lap, to be honest.
Yeah, so Michael McCarthy coming forward because Efren Castro hasn't yet got past TJ Fisher.
Yeah.
So that's taking the pressure off Efren Castro at the front of the field a little bit.
Yeah, McCarthy's had a really good drive back because he completed the first lap after all those first lap shenanigans down in 25th position.
Oh, really?
So he's now got himself up into 10th, into the top 10 for Michael McCarthy. Had a good run again yesterday too. So it's been another good performance for him.
It's the Kelly Moss Road and Race. That's the 3rd of the white cars with the green centre stripe. That one with the violet flashes on the car. Cironi still, Efren Castro, excuse me, still battling with the number 77 of Travis Wiley. That's right, the first time it was Cironi. Grant Torkey with Travis Wiley, excuse me. His teammate, TJ Fisher, has got Efren Castro behind him. He's a couple of places further back. 12 minutes to go. It's now almost 8 seconds at the front of the field. Lauren Heinrich is still out there in the 311 RS number 12. This is the car. 12 car is normally driven by Lee Keane, and this is the first race weekend that he has missed in this competition. Inaugural season last year for the launch of the 992 Porsche Carrera Cup car. Lee Keane has contested every one of them in this number 12 car from 311 RS. Lauren Heinrich won the last 2 seasons of Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland in Germany, often seen as either a stepping stone or a parallel program to Super Cups. Done some Super Cup as well. It's the one that follows F1. All the same cars, of course. Oh, side by side. Greg Tolkey down the inside there into turn number 10B. Got around the outside of 10A, and Travis Wiley give him racing room, coming back in the final corner and takes it back. Good stuff, guys. Very respectful racing there, Jeremy. When we talk about giving someone racing room, just play them that back. That's exactly what you want to see. Hard, fair, exciting. They'll have enjoyed that, and so did we.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? And that's really what we wanted this final round of the championship to be, respectful, because there's been some pretty forceful driving during the season. Hey, look, there's a lot at stake. Not only is it it's just the second Porsche Carrera Cup North America presented by the Cayman Islands, but this is a big stepping stone toward a potential Porsche Junior future.
Which is exactly what happened to Lauren Heinrich last year, of course. He won the shootout at the end of the season. Porsche bring together all of the winners in their young driver competitions from the Carrera Cup worldwide. They go off to Europe, have a couple of days of testing and competition. Lauren Heinrich won that last year, and he therefore is now a full Porsche Junior driver. Now, here's something a bit interesting, as the battling Travis Wiley and Grant Tolke are back at it again at turn 10. Now, Alan Metney has not been able to shake off Kurt Swearingen in the battle for third and fourth in Pro-Am. Now, that is a position, of course, for a podium spot for that, but Alan needs to hold on to that position. Meantime, Efren Castro now right up behind.
Well, no, he just lost
he
the
lost
place.
the position, excuse me, to Michael McCarthy.
To Michael McCarthy,
yes.
But that's not a factor for him, because that was not a pass for position in Pro-Am, which is a critical thing for Efren Castro. But,
correct. But that green car has not been dropped by the iFly machine. A little bit of damage to the right rear of Alan Metney's number 99. And Swearingen has held on here, and we're into the last 8.5 minutes. Now, we've been full green all the way through, and therefore the Michelin tyres are going to be feeling the pressure a little bit. Who has held on to a bit of performance? Have they been able to? Don't forget, Metney had to charge back from the bottom end of the teens to this position that gives him the championship by 1 point.
Yeah, and that I was going to say, losing that position for Alan Metney. Behind Alan Metney, by the way, and Marco Tironi. Kurt Swearingen, is number 56 car of Jeff Mosing, who's keeping pace with those two. He had a good battle with them, but he made a pit stop early on and he's a lap down.
Correct.
So that he's not a factor in their race, but Jeff's just out there having some fun, and he's found someone to race with that's got a similar pace, and he's going to hang in there and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the yellow and dark maroon car that you might be able to see when we check in with the iFly 99.
Here's Adelson into the pits.
Mark Kwame leading in Am. Adelson, as you say, into the pits, the man who loaned his number out at Indianapolis.
And look, number 43 car is Mark Kwame. He leads the Am class. Just maybe 7 or 8 car lengths behind him is Bob Mueller in second place. But closing in on the both of them now is John Getz. Last time around, he was a couple of tenths of a second quicker. He's only about a second or so behind in that sort of grey and purple car. So that's the battle that's going down through the S's. As we see Grant Tolke again challenging Travis Wiley, this time on the outside at turn 10. Great stuff between these two.
So he gets the inside for turn 10B, but then the number 77 cuts back to the inside. But this time, I think Grant has got that one done, and Travis Wiley drops back to 7th place for the number 77 top racing car. That's been a great, what's that been, Jeremy? 5 or 6 laps where those two have been at it at 2 or 3 different points around the circuit. They'll have big smiles when they pull in to the pits.
They will, and this morning I was talking to Varun Choksi in car number 13, who's had an incident-filled weekend. He was involved in a crash, not of his making, when he collected a spinning car of Jeff Myshak on whatever day that was, Wednesday, I guess. But he had a great race yesterday, and he and Michael McCarthy, he was telling me, went side by side from turn 7 at the far end of the racetrack, all the way around to turn 3. So, in fact, he was still smiling this morning about that one.
As he was recounting
Yeah, exactly. It was brilliant.
At the front of the field, Lauren Heinrich is 8 seconds away from Riley Dickinson. So 311 RS Motorsport will get their first top step at the podium, although Riley Dickinson will get the 25 points for Kelly Moss. And for his championship challenge, that will elevate him above Trenton Estep, put him in 3rd position. But the big change is courtesy of Parker Thompson sitting behind him for JDX Racing, the Shell number 9 car. He's dropped 7 seconds back, but he's got a dozen seconds in hand over Dimitri Dimakos. Dimitri Dimakos is going to get 3rd place points here, Jeremy. 4th position, I think, will be Dimitri's best finish.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, his best finish come to this weekend was a couple of 5ths.
That's, I mean, that's 4th across the line, netting him 3rd place points, if that makes any sense. But it's still been a good run by Dimitri. The turning point of the race early on, Kai van Berlo with damage to the front of his car, struggled on, but a bust radiator brought him into the pits and ended his championship challenge. The young man from the Netherlands, studying in Florida, taking the opportunity to race while he's over here for Kelly Moss. And that's going to be 2nd again for Kai van Berlo. Won more races than the championship winner last year, Seb Prio. Has controlled for the most part the championship this year, but is going to come up short, and he was inconsolable as he walked away from the car. Now, lapping, don't often see that. Here comes the leader.
Yeah, and lapping the AM class leaders. In fact, he's got past the first. He's got past John Getz. Now, right ahead of him is Bob Mueller. I'm sure he's going to let him go. Or is he? And ahead of Bob Mueller will be the AM leader, Mark Kwame.
Nice, lovely, lovely from both of them. Flash of the lights going down into turn 6 from Heinrich, and Bob Mueller thought about, I'm not going to let him through, I'm having a battle for the lead. No, hang on a minute, if I just stay over to the left-hand side going into 6, I can follow him and maybe get a bit of a tow out of 7 and drag back up to me class leader. All right, let's do that then. And that was a decent decision there. Now, Mark Kwame has to have his wits about him there. He'll see the bright red 311 RS coming through. His team will be telling him, don't fight, this is the leader. You're not going to lose the class lead here. All is good. Just breathed out the throttle. I think actually Mark was going to give up the position early on there. He stayed over to the left-hand side of the track going into turn 1. And that's a potential danger area for Mark Kwame that has been averted. Now, Swearingen, I'd say that he's a bit closer now, and this has championship implications. It's for 3rd and 4th in Pro-Am, but Swearingen is almost within striking distance, coming through turn 7 here with 2.5 minutes to go. And Swearingen will want this position because that would get him on the podium. And,
yeah,
that would be a good finish for Kurt.
Well, it would actually move him ahead of Marco Cironi in the points.
Oh, really?
Would it?
Well, there's something...
No, because Cironi leads Swearingen, excuse me, by 3 points coming into this final round. So he needs to pass.
So he needs to pass.
Yeah.
There's a pass on here, Jeremy. I think Swearingen's got a little bit of a performance advantage here. Now, the crucial thing is, for Alan Metney, is not the 3rd step on the podium. Not in and of itself, at least. It's the points he gets for 3rd place. Very different line by Swearingen, going to the top of the hill, pinches the corner a little bit more. That would suggest to me he's got a little more tyre life. Metney had to charge back to get in this position. As it stands, Metney is winning the Pro-Am category by the barest of margins. If he loses this position to Kurt Swearingen, the championship baton, the trophy, and the adulation at the banquet tonight will go once again to Efren Castro in a cruel repeat of what happened here last year. But this time, at least, Metni has it in his own hands. He's still on the track this year. He had a horrific last couple of races last year in what was a triple header.
Yeah, but had a really good focus coming into this weekend.
Did.
And he bore no grudges against the racetrack last year. He still says this is one of his favourite racetracks, even though everything went wrong for him last year. I agree with you, really good for him. And he's coming here focused. He knows what he had to do. I'm sure right now he knows that third place is going to be good enough for him to win this championship. He's worked super hard for it, as Alan Metni. It'd be very, very well deserved. And I know Efren Castro will hold no ill will either. They're on the same team this season, which they weren't last year. But it's been a good battle between them.
So now this is key, Jeremy, because the white flag for the leader, but that means that battle between Alan Metni and Kurt Swearingen has still got nearly 5 miles to go, because they haven't seen the white flag yet. And I don't think they're going to get lapped by this car. Now, Swearingen needs to get a wiggle on here if he wants third position, because the next car back is the leader of the race, and he does not want to be lapped. Heinrich can lift off now. He's amassed an 8-second lead, and this is redemption from yesterday. A leaky brake caliper caused that big incident in turn 1. It's not much of a braking area for these cars, but you do have to slow down, and the car was upset, went off into the wall. And poor Lauren Heinrich just had no clue what had happened. Shook his head as he got out of the car.
No, he knew what had happened. He knew the brakes had failed. Yeah, I mean the foot went to his foot went to the floor.
Did it?
The pedal went to the floor. He pumped them again. By that time, he was carrying too much speed and went off the road. So. Yeah, it was just, really unfortunate for him. But what a bounce back here! And incredibly, there was very little damage to the car.
Yes, true.
I mean, they basically there's nothing to it. They haven't changed anything significant.
So Lauren Heinrich in the wall at turn 1 yesterday takes the final race of the Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Cayman Islands season. Riley Dickinson will be in second. Mark Kwame wins in AM ahead of Bob Mueller by 0.2 of a second, and Kwame is the AM Championship ahead of John Getz, who'll finish on the podium. And Parker Thompson comes to the line, third step of the podium in this race for JDX. He is your 2022 Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands, champion for Shell Top Up, for JDX and for Canada. In the battle for the Pro-Am category, which is still racing, Efren Castro has the lead. He's done everything he had to do to take the championship. He may come up a single point short. Let's get him across the line and give him 25 points. Here he comes now, down to the final corner. Efren Castro, who won here under remarkable circumstances last year and sneaked the championship by 2 points. Alan Metni bumped off the track early on, has fought his way back to third. He's kept Swearingen at bay, and he will take the championship by a single point. It is finally the championship for Alan Metni, but my goodness, he had to work for that one. Contact on the first lap, not of his making. The car held up, he held his nerve, found the speed, and even a late race challenge from Kurt Swearingen had to be fought off. But we have a championship in the Pro-Am category that is going to the iFly driver, Mark Kwame, taking the AM category, as we mentioned. Kelly Moss winning the Pro-Am championship, MDK Motorsports the AM, and JDX with a single car entry winning the overall championship. But what a weekend for Lauren Heinrich as he's come into the championship.
Yeah, very impressive young man is Lauren. He unfazed by that incident yesterday, not of his making, comes back today, dominates the proceedings from the pole position, and the Deluxe here has a lot of guests on hand to bring home that 311 RS Motorsports first victory. Tremendous performance by that team.
And Dimitri Demakos with his best finish in the team car, the black number 11 car, finishes in 4th, will get 3rd place points because Lauren being an invitation driver is invisible for points being handed out, although he will get to stand on the top step of the podium. Parker Thompson, he's not making it back to the pits. Now, is this even more drama? Is there some irony in the Shell tap-up car not having enough go juice to get to the end? No, he's got it running again. Maybe he's just savouring the moment. This is huge.
Well,
this is a driver who has worked so hard, Jeremy, through the early part of his career, where he was a very fine single-seat Formula driver. Didn't perhaps get some of the results in championship terms that he deserves. Maybe didn't quite take this championship, even by his own admission, seriously enough to start with.
There you go.
But when he has taken it seriously and concentrated on it, it's brought in the championship. Was by no means the favourite to take this coming into the last part of the season. He's got the momentum when he needed it most, and my, can he do a donut.
Brilliant. Yeah, 3 wins in the final 6 races of the season, 3 pole positions as well. He got fastest lap in each of the final 2 races. That's an exclamation point for Parker Thompson, and a very well-deserved championship for him and for JDX Racing. Mark Kawami, who saw him celebrating down there with Trenton Estep, he was out of the race early, but there to congratulate the team boss, team owner, and AM champion Mark Kawami.
The other significant point to make in the championship was with Trenton Estep off the circuit early on. Riley Dickinson's 25 points scored for what is second across the line will elevate him to 3rd place in the championship. I talked to him at Indianapolis, and since then he knew that that was probably the best that he could get, and that was what he was going to push for. So he'll feel that that is job done as well for him in the Kelly Moss, and that is already a very good season for him, and it will set him up very nicely for next year.
Yeah, really bolstered his confidence. I think that win in Indianapolis, he was fast. He got kind of shuffled out yesterday, not really his fault, but today a really good performance. He was all over Parker Thompson. Parker let him go, comes away with the win, his 2nd win in 3 races, and as you say, really good momentum now for Riley Dickinson.
What a season we've had for Porsche Carrera Cup North America, presented by Visit Cayman Islands. And it all came down to the last race of the championship. Just as we like it, rather too much drama early on, which almost killed the championship challenge of Alan Metney, but he fought back, and he will take the Pro-Am championship from Efren Castro. In Mark Kawami wins the championship, and with a late season charge, JDX Racing and Parker Thompson nips ahead of Kai van Berlo, and he celebrates the 2022 championship. For Jeremy Shaw and the rest of the team, I'm John Hindhaugh. Bye-bye.